that's what had happened. God. Confident that that's what had happened. Confident that that's what had happened. God. Confident that that's what had happened. God. Confident that that's what had happened. God. Confident that that's what had happened. Confident that that's what had happened. God. Confident that that's what had happened. God. Confident that that's what had happened. God. Confident that that's what had happened. confident that that's what had happened. God. Confident that that's what had happened. God. Confident that kind of band is this? Everybody poops sometimes. Give us the wake up, sweetness.
Your first time should be more than special.
I'm in, Savannah said. Good Lord, Gemma. When a man and a woman, in this case, really, really love each other. What happens is they fuck.
Ooh, hello?
Oh, dang it, I lost my fish. This next word almost sounds like Quidditch. Quidditch milade Diana Agosiagath an Fiedian. As much as I love fucking you, sweetness, we stared into each other's eyes whilst I moaned in ecstasy. Having consumed half of the bourbon, I keep saying bourbon. You know, every time I mess up on a word, Stunt Mama just shows up.
She had her seductive smile on her lips.
I said we couldn't have sex. I didn't say anything about everything else. Ew. Happy to help. Biatch. You are the spark of light in the vastness of my night. His note, like a finality to a beautiful, breathtaking song. A breathtaking song indeed. Good evening. Happy Sunday. Congratulations, Mel, on getting first place. What an honor. I hope you're well. And the funky fantasy man himself is here in flesh. Good evening, sir. I hope you are well, wherever you are in your travels. No, I hope you're well. Well, we can both be well. It's fine. I'm doing good. It's been a fun weekend. It's been an eventful weekend. There I was, jamming out to Stump Mama's Walk On. Stump Mama's Walk On. And then, bah. Currently in Indianapolis. Oh, did you by chance watch the basketball game? The Fever played Atlanta, I think. No? Okay, well, one of the teams won, I can tell you that much. And hi, Kay. And of course, hello, Stump Mama's Mama. Good to see everybody. I don't really watch sports anymore. That's okay. I don't really watch a ton of sports myself, but I have gotten into women's basketball. We have season tickets to the women's college at the university here, the Hawkeyes. And so we watch the women's team. It's really good. They put on a good show. So, with the exception of College football. See, I don't really understand football. I really don't. I wish I did, just so I could at least participate in a conversation. But I got nothing. I got nothing. Football is life. Yeah, not for me. Not for me. Indianapolis on a Sunday, and you think basketball? Was I supposed to think something else? Sorry. What was I supposed to think? Oh. Well, as I just said, I don't watch football. I don't even understand it. If there's a high schooler that I know, I'll go and support like the high school team and, you know, rah, 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 good job. If everyone else claps, I clap too. But beyond that, I got nothing. I got nothing. I'm a true Brit. What are you going to do? Go Iowa City Little Hawks? Yeah, the Little Hawks. Woo! Oh, it's good to see everybody. You used to announce their baseball games, so that's cool. Not everybody can say that. Friday night. So before we get to the reading into the book, Friday night we went out to dinner, and then after dinner we went to watch the Iowa Hawkeyes volleyball team play. But as we were driving into the Applebee's parking lot, we noticed this car that was definitely out of place. At first I thought maybe they just messed up their parking job and completely like went over the curb. But no, this poor woman, definitely an older woman, what had happened was, to make a long story shorter, she was turning from the opposite side of the street, clipped the median curb, and then instead of hitting the brake, hit the gas, jumped the curb on the opposite side of the street, smashed through the half wall, and like bashed into the dumpster, because that had also moved. We got there just after it had happened, so I hopped out of the car, so did my wife. We ran over, checked on her, got her out of the car, had her shut the car off, we called the police. Luckily she wasn't injured. But it was an ordeal. Like, she was shook up to the core. She was a blubbery mess, and I couldn't blame her. But luckily we were right there so we could help her out, because no one else had stopped to even pay attention. Like, humanity, man. Like, I don't know what happened, but no one was there to help. So we did. But yeah, luckily she was okay. And she was able to have her daughter come pick her up. And the police arrived within a few minutes of us calling, and they took care of things. And yeah, it was quite the ordeal. But then we ate food and went to volleyball, and just glad she was all right. Her airbags didn't go off. I don't know how, because she must have floored it the way she jumped that. Like, that was a concrete wall, and it was obliterated. Pieces everywhere. Crazy. It's why our church does mission trips or days where we just go out and help people. No one helps anyone anymore. It's weird, isn't it? It's like everyone's... And hi, Arya. Sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. It was just storytelling. I think there's this precipice of, yeah, people just don't care. But I also think there's this underlying tone of people don't want to assume anymore and feel like they're going to get in trouble, because it's so easy to try and help somebody, but then like the fear of getting sued at the same time. It's crazy. Like, no one wants to step on anybody's toes anymore, you know? And I think, not to use that as an excuse, but I feel like it's there. I feel like there's an underlying tone of, I don't want to get in trouble. No, I know that, Funky. I guess what I'm saying is a lot of people will just keep on driving because, like, someone else will get it, or I don't want to get in trouble for doing the wrong thing, or whatever. But either way, it's sad. But I'm glad there's still people like yourself that are willing to get out there and help. All right. Real quick, before we start the book, I mentioned this in the last stream, but I'm going to keep repeating it until we're ready to do it. We're dangerously close to finishing this book, which is kind of crazy and sad all at the same time. And so I've lined up what's next. And up next is this book, which my green screen is going to have fun with every time because the eyes are green. But next up we have Xirenes, The Witch Cat by A.J. Saunders. If you recognize the author's name, it's because we have read books by A.J. Saunders before, and this is one of her newest. After that, a very interesting book has fallen upon my desk. It's called Song for Someone, and it's basically Sherlock Holmes, Irene Adler, pre-Sherlock Holmes era. So, like, we're all familiar with the Sherlock Holmes stories. The way this was explained to me, it's basically before Sherlock became Sherlock and their meeting and how things kind of came to be. So that should be pretty interesting. And then I have a third book which I haven't ordered yet, but that will be arriving right after I order it, and that will be on our list as well. So we got some reading coming up. Then you can read my second and my third and my fourth. I'm glad to have been told about you, Nathan, and had the honor to read your stuff. I'm glad you approved it, and I appreciate you being around here too. It makes a difference. And hi, Ons, by the way. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Funky or Nathan, you'll be surprised and hopefully happy to know that Kay, or Lady Alpha K, as she is in chat, is also an author that I've read books for on stream. And she's been so amazing that she's actually stuck around and stayed here ever since. And it's been wonderful. You don't have to do that, but if you like to listen to other books and enjoy the reading and all that stuff, after we're done with your book, you are more than welcome to just stay and chill and listen to other stories. So, you know, it's up to you. And there's no pressure and no heartfelt feelings whichever way. So, all right. That being said, I think it's time we read a book. Oh, we have a puzzle, by the way. I totally forgot that we have a puzzle. I picked out another castle because is the theme. I'd love to come on your Twitch with you sometime and just talk about it all. Oh yeah, that would be cool. Let me see, like, I can usually kind of guess when we're going to end the book, so we'll see if it works with your schedule to talk about it on the next stream, or as I'm finishing on the current stream. It just depends on how it all times. But I'll ping you on Discord and we'll figure it out, because that would be great. So yeah, there's your puzzle. If I get my head out of the way. Another castle puzzle for you. Tonight, we start our adventures on chapter 38. Page 410, which means we have 70-ish, 76, I think, 74 pages of our book remaining of the official story. So, strap in, because this isn't the end. This is just the closing of one book before book 2 is available for your eyes. You know, exclamation point kingdom, if you want to check those out, because if you want to see what happens after this book, you're going to need to get the others. Tonight's chapter is called The Abandoned Battlefield. Sit back, relax, and I will read you a story. Zalron stared out across the charred and cracked valley. Colossal craters lined the fields. Their shape suspiciously looked like where the base of a mountain might have once stood. Everything, as far as the eye could see, was barren. Oh my gosh, Gemma? That was an oddly specific number of bits. Thank you very much. Thank you for the 302 bits, you kind soul. Where did you just come from? You're like a ninja. One day you're here, and then you vanish, and then you appear again. Thank you, Gemma. It's very kind of you. And I lost my place, and we just started. So that shouldn't be too difficult. Oh yeah, everything we could see was barren. We're good. No grass, flowers, or any sign of life whatsoever. Of course, how are you? I'm well. I'm doing pretty well, thank you. It's very kind of you. You know, Gemma, you are allowed to just come in, say hi, and chill out. It's okay. I appreciate your kindness, your generosity. I just want you to know, but it's okay. Turning to his master, Zalron cracked his neck, just like I did, and asked, "What are we doing here?" Arion stretched out his arms, walked a few paces forward, and pointed ahead. "This is the abandoned battlefield in the Valley of Tears. This place used to be teeming with life. Beautiful rivers roared and twisted as far as the eye could see. The ground was full of grass, greener than emerald jewels, and it stood as high as a man's waist. And the flowers were heavenly." He motioned with a single finger toward the east and then the west. There even used to be mountains, but everything was destroyed during a horrendous battle some years ago. The ground on which we stand is full of tortured souls who were brutally slaughtered. That is why my reanimation spell will work so well here. When I bring these people back, they will beg to fight for us. Zalron tilted his head in confusion. "Why is that?" Arion turned around and smiled crookedly. "Because the people who lie in the ground were killed by none other than Zylock Grey and his allies. Oh, yes. They will make a fine army for us." "Very well. Are you coming back to Targus with me?" Zalron asked. Arion nodded curtly. "Yes. I have something I need to take care of first, but then I will join you. Now sit back and watch as I show you a true display of power." Arion raised his arms and started chanting. his hands lit up blazing red and hints of purple streaming in between. With hints of purple. I can read. The powerful sorcerer's voice became louder. Crackling bolts of pink and purple lightning shot out of his hands and struck various points on the battlefield. The ground shook as billows of smoke rose at each strike point, followed by a pile of bones rising out of the ground. Zalron smiled crookedly as he watched. It reminded him of when he went through the same process of getting his original body back. The sky grew darker than onyx as more lightning struck the skeletons, forming flesh on their bodies until they were whole. Zalron began cackling manically. I can't wait for my new army. This is a glorious day for Lord Zalron. With a last crackle of electricity, Arion lowered his hands and crossed his arms. What do you think? I believe this shall do the trick. Zalron stared out into the field. There were easily 30,000 warriors of all calibers. There were a few elves, some goblins, a couple of orcs, one demon troll, and a legion of powerful magic wielders. It wasn't until a loud piercing screech filled the air that Zalron's eyes fell upon a dragon at the back of the field. He shivered with excitement, went to Arion, put a hand on his shoulder, and smiled at him. That was quite the spell. I look forward to having them fight for me. Hey, Zarias, enjoy the castle puzzle. Arion clicked his teeth and wagged a finger back and forth. You mean us, but this isn't done yet. Walking forward, he formed a ball of red energy in his hands, threw it at the army. Awaken! A split second later, all the warriors' eyes were engulfed with red power, then dimmed, then disappeared. Pay close attention, Zalron. This is how you command an army. He walked even closer to the awakened warriors and spoke in a booming voice. My friends and warriors, today I have given you your bodies back. While you may not have a soul, you possess all the memories of your lives. I'm offering you the chance to get revenge against those who killed you. I know you fought your hardest during the fateful battle, but in the end suffered defeat. He pointed to Zalron. My disciple, Lord Zalron, will take you to Targus and have you prepare a perimeter to wait for your enemy. You'll finally be able to crush them once and for all. Now, I can make you go with him, or you can go on your own accord. What say you, brave warriors? A skinny warrior came forward and crossed his arms over his chest. We will gladly fight this battle for you. If it gives us the chance to take revenge on those who took everything from us, then we will gladly fight. My name is Daedon, and I am from the Elven Kingdom. My brother Soramai doesn't seem to be here, which means he survived. So I will take command of this army for you. Arion shook Daedon's hand. Very well, Daedon. You shall have your fight. And your revenge. Sorry, late to the party, per usual. How many times do we have to say this, Mama House Gaming? You arrive when you mean to. You are never late. I don't like this time change for you. Well, I like it. So, sorry. Not sure what to say. Just get it together. Just teasing. I know it's messed up some people, and I understand, but I needed to do it. Good luck with that. Yeah, I get it. As Arion walked back towards Zalron, a shining light appeared on the battlefield, blinding everyone. As it dimmed, a loud roar came from the dragon. A glowing man with long golden blonde hair, sparkling with energy, stood on top of the dragon with a huge energy spear piercing through the creature's throat. "Who in the blazes are you?" Arion yelled. "Yue, what's up?" "Hello, Book Pookie. Hi, Yue." The mysterious man spoke so loudly that the army of awakened warriors covered their ears. "You may have remembered me as Merrick Zane from my first life. I am now the elder god Merrikai. I've come here to end your plans of destruction and put an end to this foolishness once and for all. You've killed far too many people, and it ends here." Chillin'. Hopefully your calming voice tells my cold to... Wow. I've occasionally put people to sleep, but I don't know if I've made anyone's cold disappear. If it works, though, I would like to know. Because maybe I can get on TV or something. Zalron snarled angrily. Purple and black energy exploded off his body, and he levitated off the ground. "You filthy insect! How dare you come here and speak to us like that? I'll end you here and now. You may be an elder god, but I'm an actual god. So why don't you come over here and I'll show me just how strong you are, boy." I was going to give a snarky comment. I held back. Wow. Mama House Gaming showing restraint. Put someone to sleep, can't imagine. Merrikai grinned, raised a glowing hand and slammed it upon the dragon's neck. An ear-rattling ring echoed out before the scaly beast began glowing with a soft gold hue. As it became brighter, cracks formed and cascaded every which direction along the dragon's body. Then it exploded into chunks of bone and ash. Merrikai continued floating in the air as he pointed down at the Dark Council members, plural. "Still think I'm weak, boy? Why don't you come over here and test your strength against me?" Zalron gritted his teeth and started moving toward his enemy, but halted as Arion rose to stop him. "What are you doing, fool? You're going to let him talk to us like this, like that, and get away with it?" Arion shook his head. "No, I'm going to fight him. You need to get this army back to Targus." He aimed his hand down and snapped his fingers. A brilliant pink and red portal opened. "Get them there. Then create an Elder God barrier, the one I taught you many years ago." Ooh. Flip the sand over. You got it. Oh, shit. I did not think this through. So I put a dark colored background on it, thinking, hey, that'll help. But I forgot about the fact that sometimes I have to actually flip it over. There we go. That'll work. For now, anyway. I don't think a dark background was the best idea anyway. Moving on. It's pretty good now? Good. Zalron wanted to argue, but decided against it after remembering the dragon's destruction. He disintegrated that beast as easy as taking a piss. I'll get my revenge on him, though. Lowering himself on the ground, he waved to his master. Good luck, Arion. Oh, and then there's a break in the story. Which means I can take my very first sip of tea, because I haven't actually tried it yet. Cam could be a tad higher, but we can see it now. Well, I more so want you to see the bottom half, because that's where the sand's going to end up, if that makes sense. Ooh, I almost spilled. Delicious. If anything, I need a more, maybe a wider background, just so you can see the sand fall even more. I want something to drink like that. Oh, I have my chai tea still. Excellent. Arion floated toward his new foe with purpose. I don't know how you managed this one, Merrick. It's Merrikai now. Fine. Merrikai it is. I don't know why the gods chose you, but it doesn't change a thing. Your family is still going to lose. Arion charged, swirling rings of red lightning around his arms, and grinned. Malice is going to be freed. You can't stop the inevitable from happening. You should be happy I've allowed your family to live this long. We have thunderstorms for once, and it's very dreary outside. Ooh, thunderstorms. Nice. Merrikai summoned 2 golden energy blades and flew forward, slashing powerful blows at his enemy. Don't you mean your family? What happened to you, Arion? I used to look up to you when I was younger. You were so kind. What could have happened that turned you so evil? Arion grabbed the 2 golden blades and sent a powerful kick into Merrikai's gut, sending the god flying to the ground. Arion went after him, slammed his foot against his enemy's chest, and held him still. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. My years as King of Targ has taught me many things. I've always been a logical man. When I saw what the Dark Council could offer me, I had to accept it. I always choose the winning side. Malice is going to bring us a promised land unlike anything you've ever seen. There won't be any war, hunger, pain, or sorrow. It will be peace forevermore. Golden light grew brighter around Merrikai's body. He screamed as he grabbed hold of Arion's foot. Jumping up, he slammed the man's body against the ground, brought him up again, and tossed him 20 feet into a large boulder. The rock exploded from the impact, and the Dark Sorcerer groaned as he lay on the ground. You know, hot cocoa sounds good right now? Gotta go make some? That's a great idea. I second that decision. Mini marshmallows are a must. Merrikai rushed toward him with angry eyes. Let's see if I get this spell or magic words correctly. Otonalep Erokrats. Whoosh. Arion's stomach churned at the unknown language. What did you say? I've never heard such words before. I probably butchered the words myself, so it's fine. Neither have I, Arion. Neither have I. That's because it's a language of the gods. I'm sure you've heard some Ontaronia chant Sol Oed Ortson before, right? A+ for effort? Okay. You're so nice. Arion swallowed hard. He'd only heard that phrase once before in his life, right before he joined the Dark Council. Yes, I've heard that phrase before. It means praise to our god. Arion stood slowly and slammed his hands together. But I can do the same, boy. here we go. Maybe not this time. Ruoi Sesson. What? Is this real? Come on. Ruoi Sesson Hiluf Liwi Tulser Nai Rio Hitiat. Is this your backward language again? It is, isn't it? Your foolishness will result in your death. It is. It is your backwards language. Oh my gosh. I need to be mod again. As soon as I remember how. All right, your mod. I remembered. You should be proud. I've never laughed so hard. You made my night. Oh, I'm so glad. I mean, how do you speak words that aren't even technically a language? They're just the English language backwards. Like, what are you supposed to do? Oh, God. Right. Serious. We're having a fight here. He grinned as the ground began cracking at his feet. Rocky chunks rose into the sky as if gravity didn't exist. My foolishness will result in my death, eh? Marikai laughed and raised his hands to the sky. A colossal meteor began soaring down from the upper atmosphere, burning with blue and white fire. I know the ancient Aetherian tongue, fool. When you become an elder god, you learn all languages of the universe. You don't stand a chance against me. Arion stammered, took a step backward, and looked at Zalron. There were still 10,000 warriors that hadn't made it through the portal. As he gazed up at the meteor soaring toward him, he tried to think of a way to protect himself. Cupping his hands around his mouth, he shouted to his disciple, "Get everyone through the portal and create the barrier." Zalron turned his head and opened his eyes wider as he saw the incoming moon-sized attack. "What about you? You can't survive this fight." Oh, hold on, we have a poll. How to make hot chocolate. Milk, water, half and half. Oh, definitely milk. Yeah. And if you have vitamin D, the creamier the better. I make it with either hot water from the Kruig or warm milk from the stove. Ooh. And which one is it tonight? Stove or hot water? With cinnamon? No. You're going to have to leave now. Just kidding. You have it your way, I'll have it mine, and we can all live cohesively together. Don't worry about me, fool. Just do as I say. Get out of here. Arion flew backward as a powerful kick landed against his chest. You don't think I'll allow that to happen, do you? We really tied the poll? Okay. I can't stand the smell of cinnamon. No way. Not a chance. Nope. Marikai aimed his hand at the meteor and snapped his fingers. Powerful lightning exploded from the large rock, and it descended quickly upon the 10,000 warriors. You wouldn't taste it? Then what's the point? Wouldn't you put it in there so that you can taste it? Come now. I don't like cinnamon either, but man, it's good. Huh. I don't know about adding cinnamon to hot chocolate, but I'd certainly add nutmeg. Huh. Interesting. What about Dove chocolate? Zalron noticed the attack and jumped through the portal just before the moon-sized rock slammed into the ground, crushing all 10,000 warriors at once. Arion cursed under his breath. That damn coward. Turning back to Marikai, he shot forth twin beams of powerful red lightning. They struck the god's chest, but did nothing. Marikai tilted his head and chuckled. I'm disappointed in your powers, Arion. I thought this fight would have been better. Suddenly, his body flew backward as two other Arion clones appeared out of nowhere. They kicked and punched him back and forth across the field. The dark sorcerer got to his feet and flew toward his enemy. As he moved, he created 10 more clones and sent them after the god from all directions. You think just because you're a god you can stop me? You're more arrogant in your new life than you were before. Stomping both of his feet into the ground, he aimed his hands at his clones and fired off multiple white, glowing orbs. When they touched each of his bodies, they began summoning magical attacks of different elements. Some summoned colossal ice walls, some threw fireballs, others lightning whips. Then, Arion released a shockwave of wind and energy toward the god. All the attacks swirled around into a vicious storm, tossing Marikai around like a straw puppet. Arion flew into the storm and found Marikai waiting for him. The man was free of any injury and smiling arrogantly. I'll give you one thing. You certainly aren't the same man I remember. I'm going to let you go for Meridian's sake. Go spend the last remaining hours you have with your family. It will all be over soon, Arion said. Keep my wife's name out of your mouth. Marikai flew forward and tossed a burning gold fist at his enemy. Arion moved out of the way and clicked his teeth. Too slow, son. He snapped his fingers and disappeared, but his voice was still present. I'll see you soon, Marikai. Break in the story, but not a long one. You add it to make the chocolate stronger. Oh, like melting a chocolate bar over the top of a cup while pouring steaming hot milk over it. Ooh, that's a beautiful idea. Elias slashed his 2 swords against Zylock and Arthur. His training was proving to be fruitful, with his newfound motivation. Preparing to throw his next attack, a loud ring pierced the air, and a sudden flashing light appeared out of nowhere. Elias dropped his guard and took a punch to his face from Arthur. Ouch! What in the blazes is wrong with you? Never drop your guard against your opponent, child, Arthur said. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to not look at the supernova that appeared out of nowhere? He pointed toward the light. People started gathering around it, whispering excitedly to one another. Elias moved closer and could make out the silhouette of a man within the burning energy. It reminded him of the time Kai had appeared to him. No way. This couldn't be him, could it? As the golden light vanished, he found himself dumbfounded. His mouth went dry, and his eyes became watery. Hello, my son. It's been a while. Elias stood silent for a moment before finally getting his mouth to move. Dad? And that is the end of chapter 38. Dad? Is that you? Dad? Hearing cinnamon makes me want to make cinnamon sugar toast. There's a lot of things that you're being influenced by tonight, Gemma. So, for those of you that know, we're having our house built. And I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up properly, but this is the current state. Siding, garage doors. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. Thanks, everyone. I'm also excited about having an office space like the one I'm in right now in the basement, not on the main floor. Because when it's in the basement, I'll be much cooler, unlike right now. So, yes. I owe 10 push-ups and 5 hammer curls. Soundproof basement moment. My office will have a lot of soundproofing in it, yes. Especially where I do my recordings and my readings and stuff like that. So, I have a plan. A very detailed plan. Just wait till you see the office, the walls and the ceiling of the color I chose for the office. It's muy caliente. Need a pic of that when you have it ready so I can get inspired? Oh, don't worry. You will have one. Let me pull up this picture for you. I know you can already see my screen, so this works out wonderfully. So this right here, that's going to be the color of my walls and the ceiling. Latina Book Pookie. Who is designing this for you? Moi. I have a pretty decent eye for designing rooms, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to have this color with actually not too far off of what we're seeing here, a lot of warm wood and metal tones inside the room, along with a cozy chair to sit in for relaxing. It's going to be great. There'll be some black accents as well, because our whole house has black accents. So like the ceiling fan, for example, will be a black ceiling fan. But yeah, I'm really liking this color, so I can't wait. Oh yeah, I'm going to have a tea station and a little mini fridge. Don't worry, I've got it all figured out. I have a plan. Right, 10 push-ups, 5 hammer curls. If anyone's planning on adding to it, do it now. Otherwise, I'm going to go do my thing. Atari, hello. Yellow. Problem is you won't be able to see me. Well, you'll be able to slightly see me do the curls, but my camera is pointed at this thing right here, so you just have to trust me on the push-ups. But I'll do the hammer curls first. Now it's push-ups. Whew. All right. Feeling strong. Thank you for indulging me. Let's diminish these. Excellent. In my next office, I won't be needing a green screen. So my hope is that the camera placement will be good enough to where it doesn't matter what kind of exercise I do. You'll be able to see it no matter what. I could never break your back. Well, we can work on that. There's lots of back strengthening exercises. So tasty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, chapter 39 is called The Last Supper. The Last Supper. There we go. That's a little better. It was going too slow for me. Here we go. We're on page 418. Eliath didn't move a muscle. Nothing made sense to him. He'd watched his father turn into light particles only days ago, and that was after they confirmed his death. Step after shaky step, he moved closer to the man. It looked like Marikai, but there was subtle differences. The man's hair sat in golden waves, with no trace of red in sight. His beard sat much shorter. His once ocean blue eyes were now amber with sparkling hints of silver. Eliath tried to speak, but instead bit his tongue. Marikai came forward and wrapped his son into a tight hug. I'm sure you have many questions, and I promise I will answer all of them. For now, however, I believe we get down to business. Where are your mother and sister? Once again, Eliath couldn't get a single word to form. He simply shrugged his shoulders and continued staring at his father. Zylock came forth and crossed his arms smugly. I see you've come back from the dead. I look forward to this story. He pointed to the castle. Meridian and Syndril are inside with Yandra working on healing magic. Marikai smiled widely. Wonderful. I'm sure it's been nice for my daughter to learn from the old hag. That's no way to speak about a lady. Good gracious. Raising a hand, Marikai closed his eyes and snapped his fingers. Gold sparks of light jumped off his hand and danced about in the air for a few moments. Suddenly, random people started materializing in flashes of gold light all around the training grounds. Eliath jumped as Korn and Syndril appeared next to him. Turning his head to the side, he gave a nervous smile to his sister and shrugged. Don't ask me what's going on, because I have no idea. Korn put her arm around his back and looked up at him with loving eyes. Are you okay, Eliath? He nodded and returned her embrace. I will be once all this gets explained. A loud cry echoed out. Turning his head, he found his mother, tears rushing down her face, going to his father. Meridian fell into her husband's arms and cried. How is this possible? They told me you were dead. Marikai stroked his wife's hair and kissed her on the forehead. I was dead. I'm going to tell you everything. Putting his arm around his wife's waist, he raised his other hand and snapped his fingers. Brilliant gold and white energy swirled around everyone, trapping them in a large dome. The Elder God looked back and forth and nodded. All right, everyone. I've put us under an Elder God dimension barrier. No one will be able to see us or hear us. What happened to you, Father? Eliath shouted out. Marikai chuckled and put a hand put up a hand to calm his son down. Wow, just making up my own story here. Relax, son. I'm getting to it. You all heard that I died, and that is true. The years of being possessed by Zalron's soul destroyed my body slowly until I was nothing more than a husk. I remember the black hood leaving my body, and then darkness started to take hold. But then a bright flash of heavenly light surrounded me. An elder god, Escanor, appeared to me and took me to see Supreme Elder God Kai. He offered me a new life and the chance to come fight with all of you to take down Zalron. Unfortunately, after that, I have to return to planet Starryhaven? I can read. You'd make a great story, the tales of the book, Pookie. Once upon a time. Return to the planet Starryhaven and live out my existence as an elder god. Eliath's head buzzed with information. He attempted to slow down his racing heart, but only became more excited by the prospect of a new planet. Father, can I go with you to Starryhaven? Going to get my dinner. I'll be back in like 15. Ooh, yes, go get your dinner. Marikai leaned back and boomed with laughter. I'm afraid not, but perhaps I'll get to come visit you here again someday. Zylark started stroking his beard intently as a look of wonder filled his eyes. Did you enjoy meeting my old master? Marikai nodded curtly. I did. Just an FYI, it's like Starhaven? Is that how I should say it? Starryhaven? Even better, because there's a Y at the end. Not Starry. Starryhaven? I did. He's a kind-hearted man. I even ran into Edith. Kairos' eyebrows raised as a small grin came across his face. Did you really? How is he doing? Did he say anything about the powers he gave me? Eliath crossed his arms and turned to his uncle. You didn't tell me you had new powers. When were you planning on sharing that? Sorry, Eliath. We've had a lot going on. Kairos returned his attention to the elder god. He told me he gave you blazing sun powers. That's as much as I know. Marikai crossed his arms as if annoyed with answering the question. Right now, Zalron is in Targus, setting up an Elder God barrier and scattering his forces along the city perimeter. We should go fight now. Eliath held up a warrior's fist. We can't allow him time to prepare. Marikai shook his head and sighed. My son, have you learned nothing from training with the old man? We can't just charge into battle half-cocked. We need to allow everyone the chance to have a good meal and get a good night's rest. We will go at first light. Eliath stared up at the setting sun. The bright oranges and yellows of the sky relaxed him and made him remember his mother had a feast waiting for them. Looking up to his father with a large smile, he pointed toward the castle. Shall we go feast, then? Yes, but I have something to give you all first. Marikai raised his hand and snapped his fingers. Bright, glowing gold light surrounded each person's body in the crowd. Eliath looked over to his sister and watched the transformation take place. Tiny sparkles of cosmic energy moved up and down her body and left behind sleek silver armor with a golden star engraved on the front and back. Eliath became lost in the metal. He felt like he was staring into a sparkling pool of crystal clear water. He ran a hand along his chest plate. It was the smoothest material he'd ever felt in his life. It reminded him of the touch screen of his smartphone back on Earth. As he removed his finger, the small spark of gold light shot off and danced around in the air before vanishing. He knew the armor was high caliber. If they'd taken all the smartest minds in Dundahar and had them create an armor, it would have taken thousands of years before they could come close to this. He gave his father a warm smile. This is amazing, Father. What is it? Oh, and there's an ad starting. Dang it. I was going to try and snooze it, but there's an ad starting. This is star armor, Marikai said, pointing to his son's chest plate. The Era gods have been working on this second-generation armor since the end of the Bloodfall Age. Xylock grabbed his pipe and started smoking on it. And how is this wondrous armor made? Marikai chuckled as he went to the old man and smacked him on the back. The old wizard nearly fell on his face. It seems I finally know something that you don't. How about we talk about it during supper? Xylock raised an eyebrow and stared at the god for a moment. Puffing his chest out to appear bulkier, he smacked Marikai on the back, winced from pain, and drew his hand back. Well, it seems more than just your knowledge has changed. Very well. Off to supper we go. Marikai snapped his fingers, and the gold dome of energy disappeared. Meridian put her arm around his waist and motioned toward the castle. Please, everyone, come to the great hall and enjoy the wondrous feast we have waiting. Eliath turned to Kayla with exhilaration all over his face. All right, I want your mom to sit next to my family. It will be so fun to share stories of Earth with each other. Kayla beamed at him and leaped into his arms. That sounds amazing. I can't wait to go tell her. Searching far and wide, Eliath tried finding Kelly and Stephen. Eventually, his eyes landed on them standing in the front of the courtyard. He left Sindril and Corin behind as he rushed to them. Kelly looked at him with a loving smile. Hello, Eliath. That's going to take some time getting used to. It's okay, you just found out. He grabbed both their hands and started moving toward the Great Hall. I want you guys to sit next to my family at dinner. Stephen nodded and held out a hand. Lead the way. As Eliath led them toward their destination, the cacophonies of conversation, music, and laughter filled the air. Strong aromas of roasted meats, potatoes, and other delicious foods wafted through the hallway, causing his mouth to water. He pushed open the doors to the great hall and moved toward the central table in the room where his family sat at the head. Every seat in the hall was occupied. A flickering orange hue cast shadows across the walls from the many torches and fires ablaze. A few musicians were spread out at different points in the room, playing classic Naharian tunes. Eliath guided Kelly and Stephen to their seats, and then took his own next to Xylock. He looked at the old man and smiled. Tonight will be one for the ages. The wizard grunted, took a sip of wine, then tore off a piece of bread. I agree, lad. I'm glad we could have one happy memory before battle. The room fell silent as Kairos tapped his wine glass with a knife. He stood from his chair and held up his drink. My comrades, thank you for standing with us for this coming fight. It would be good to put an end to the monstrous Black Hood. I know what he's taken from so many of you, and as your king and fellow Naharian, I give this toast. There's nothing stronger than the bond of family and friendship. Though battle may be nigh, and evil lies in wait, we will not falter. We will be victorious. To victory! The room erupted like a thunderstorm. Boots stomped against the ground, mugs slammed on the table, and some even yelled, God King! Eliath stared into his goblet and noticed a small trickle of black and the purple wine. He tilted his head and brought the drink closer to take a sniff. Smells like wine. Hi, Mitchell. He took a small swig and sloshed it around his mouth. Tastes like wine. Oh, what is wrong with you, Eliath? You're sitting next to your possible future wife and finally having a happy memory, and you're souring it up by being an idiot? He laughed to himself and looked across the table at his mother and father. I'm glad to have you both here. It's been a long time since we've had a meal together like this. Marikai held up a glass and smiled. Senmo etoma. Meridian turned to him with questioning eyes. That's a beautiful that language is beautiful. What is it? I'm sorry, love. It's the Elder God language. I said, I love you all. So, Mother, Eliath said excitedly, have you gotten the chance to meet Callie and Stephen yet? Meridian shook her head after taking a small bite of roast pork. I don't believe that I have. Eliath pointed to his foster parents with exhilaration. Callie and Stephen, I'd like for you to meet my mother, Queen Meridian of Targus. Callie held her glass up. It's nice to meet the mother of this wonderful boy. I'm glad I had the privilege of watching over him for you. Stephen held his hand out to Marikai. It's nice to meet you, sir. Eliath is a special young man. It was a joy to raise him. You look like a warrior, Marikai said, pointing at Stephen's thick arms. On Earth, we have a military. I served in one of the branches, Stephen said. I would love to hear more about it later, Marikai said. Eliath turned to Kayla's mother and held out his hand. I'm glad that we finally had the chance to meet again. Your daughter is an amazing woman. Michelle smiled but remained silent as she chewed her food. Placing her hand on Eliath's hand, she squeezed it. You're a good boy. Even when I met you on Earth, I knew you were a good match for my Kayla. You just promise you won't break her heart when you take us all home. Eliath nodded his response. As much as he wanted to go back with Kayla and live a happy life with her, he couldn't. His life was in Dundahar, and he couldn't leave his reunited family behind. As much as he wanted to beg Kayla to stay with him, he knew he couldn't do that either. The one woman he'd met that he'd had an interest in would soon be gone. Turning to his father, he motioned toward his new armor and grinned. So, care to tell me now how this armor was made? Marikai finished his drink and cleared his throat. It is forged from a strong substance we have on Starry Haven called Star Steel, and is finished off by being burned with God fire, which is harnessed from the Escanor himself. So wait, you're telling me he breathes fire or something? What is he, a freaking dragon? Eliath asked. Well, no, he isn't a dragon, Eliath, Marikai said. He absorbs the power of one of our stars and directs it into the forge with his hands. That's still super awesome. Can this armor be broken? If your opponent is strong enough, then yes, it can be damaged. As I said earlier, the Elder Gods have been working on the second generation armor for a long time. It can take quite a few direct blows, but it will eventually give way. So you need to be careful. Marikai looked down at his drink, and his eyes softened. When this is all over, son, I'll have to return to the stars. But I promise, we will get some time to talk before I leave. Eliath's throat tightened as he thought about his father leaving. It wasn't what he wanted, but he was happy that he had his father for a little bit. As he looked at his mother, visiting with Stephen and Kelly, he smiled. The many conversations taking place around him were all upbeat and positive. He looked further down the table to where George, Arthur, Daryl, and Zylock were chatting amongst each other and clashing their drinks against one another. Eliath turned to Syndrel and looked deep into her eyes. I love you, sister, I'm glad we're all together again. She nodded and leaned her head on his shoulder for a moment. Everything's going to be okay, little brother. From the far end of the room, people started stomping their feet, and a few warriors sang. The time of battle is upon us. Oh, rise, warriors, rise. I am not singing this. I am not a singer. On the morrow, the blood-stained dirt will hold the swords of the damned. If you lose your footing, you may slide into the early grave. Now fasten your shields and grab your swords. The glory of battle is nigh. Fail? Yeah, I know. You'll sing it for everyone? Done. All right. More patrons slammed their glasses down. Wine and ale splashed onto the table. As Eliath went on enjoying his food, he continued thinking about the happy times to come for the rest of the night, until the leaving for his chambers and going to bed. And that brings us a close to chapter 39. Oh boy. The major battle is upon us. Or at least soon. Time for some tea, though. Because chapter 40 is next. So good. I know sand is falling. You can see it right there. But man, it's taken its sweet time. I'm gonna give it a little shake. It's tricky with these because you have to be really careful about how much air you allow into it. If you have too much air, the sand won't fall. If you take too much out, the sand falls too quickly. And I think I might have smacked it too much because now it's all coming down. What? Oh, sir, you didn't have to do that. Thank you for giving a tier 1 sub to Creative Garden. That was kind of you. You really didn't have to do that. I get to spin the wheel now. Let's see what happens. Oh, look, more push-ups. Just when we thought we were done. Helps if I spell it correctly. There we go. What is going on? Gifting a sub to Nova and all crazy here? Funky. Dude. Stop with the madness. Thank you so much for gifting 2 more subs. You really didn't have to do that. That was super kind of you. You've never experienced my nights where I go crazy? Doesn't mean we need to. I didn't realize you were a Twitchosaur. like a connoisseur. All right, we'll spin the wheel 2 more times. Here we go. Hammer curls seems to be the theme tonight. Push-ups and hammers. I think I did it wrong. Hold on. What is going on? I can't stop it. I can't even type right now. What just happened? New Figgle. Oh my gosh. Raiding with a party of 21. Hi. Hi, Raiders. It's a bunny. Welcome in. New Figgle, thank you so much for the raid. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh god, what is happening? I can't keep up. I still owe... Hold on. I owe another spin for... This one's for the one that you gave to All Crazy here. I'm sorry, Raiders. Just streamer picks. We'll do curls. We haven't done any curls. And I can do those on camera. And then New Figgle rated. Hi, New Figgle. How was your stream? How was the rest of Once Human? I love that game. I gotta run. Not feeling well today. I know you're not, Kay. I hope you feel better. Seriously. And then Funky giving another one to UA and Sunday Phillip. And then... I don't even know what to say right now. It was a bunch of fun. Had fun with my crew. Awesome. Hi, Nova. So I owe 2 more spins. Yes. Okay. Everyone that just came in, if you don't know me, I'm a mess. Nice to meet you. More push-ups. This thing is rigged. I'm a... Okay. Sir, calm down. You don't need to do this. I owe 3 more spins. I'm just gonna keep... If I don't keep going, I'm gonna get confused. More hammer curls, I swear. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a reading streamer, I'm a voice actor, and sometimes we play games. And right now, I'm spinning a wheel because somebody keeps gifting subscriptions, which I'm very thankful for, but they're doomed to see me sweat. And I owe 2 more spins. I am keeping track. New Figgle, thank you for the raid. More hammer curls? What the hell? I greatly appreciate you thinking of me. I was kind of hoping I was going to raid you after we were done, but you're done. Wait, you resubbed too? Did I miss it? Did it not show up? I didn't... How come it didn't show up? Did it show up? Hope this helps with your streaming, man. Of course it does. Right after you rated. Oh, I'm so sorry. It didn't display. That was really weird. Oh, yes it did. You said yay. I'm so sorry. I missed it. All right, so I still owe 2 more. Do I owe 2 more? Now I'm lost. I think it's 2 more. Pretty sure. More. Oh my god. These hammer curls are going to be the death of me. All right, here we go. Rigged. Rigged. 5 curls, 25 hammer curls, and 10 push-ups. It's definitely rigged. We're going to pump you up. Okay. I'm gonna flip the sand just 'cause. You deserve it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Feel the burn. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Holy crap. Whew. Shake out the arms a little bit. Mr. Marcher, hello. I know it's only 5 curls, but I'm just like, can I do it? Oh God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now 10 push-ups. Okay. Okay. We did it. Okay. I'm fine. Y'all are crazy. Funky. New Figgle. Thank you for the workout. I appreciate you.
Drink! Drink! Drink!
I will.
Drink!
I will. There we go. Back to 0. Wow, how is the sand done already? That was a little too quick. Average Aim, what's up? You just missed me having my ass handed to me by some workouts. Oh, it's good. I needed you destroyed before this next chapter. Oh, you want to see the gun show? Oh boy. His aim may be average, but the man himself is not. Ladies and gentlemen, Average Aim. Ba, ba, da, ba. Whew. That was a postcard pic if I've ever seen one. You're full of crap. Seriously though, thank you for the love. Oh man.
You guys are awesome.
I'm gonna flip the sand again because that went way too fast. It's supposed to be relaxing, not a race. Okay, let's see how that does. I need a new pencil sharpener. I was just at Staples doing an Amazon return today. I could have got you one. Chapter 40. The Darkness of Night. Page 427. Exclamation point Kingdom, by the way, will get you a link to the Funky Fantasy Man's author page. So please check it out. Prepare. I'll do my best. Here we go. Eliath's eyes shot open to the sound of a piercing scream. As he forced himself to get out of bed, he grabbed his energy gauntlets from the nightstand and put them on. Rushing out of his room, he made his way down the hall. Once more, the scream echoed out. He focused intently and finally found the room from which the distress call was coming from. It was Kayla's. With a strong kick, he sent the door flying open and went inside. His eyes fell upon Kayla, pressed up against the far wall of the room with her hands up and the look of fear on her face. A black, hooded figure stalked toward her with the dagger held up. Eliath's heart raced quicker, and his lips flared as he shot forward. Stay! That's probably the most inappropriate time for a moan ever. And he said, yeah. Stay away from her, you monster! The mystery assailant continued on its warpath toward Kayla, so Eliath charged, swirling jade energy around his fist and punched as hard as he could against the enemy's chest. Flesh tore and bones cracked as his hand went straight through the heart of his enemy. Eliath pulled his hand out, and the mystery figure fell to the ground with a loud thump. Eliath went to Kayla and pulled her into a tight hug. Are you okay? Did he hurt you? Kayla shook her head back and forth, her lips trembling. Raising a shaky hand, she pointed over to one of the beds in the room. I'm okay, but he killed my mother. Eliath turned his gaze and found Michelle. The woman's chest had a gaping hole in it, with bones protruding out like sharp knives. He turned back to Kayla and kissed her on the forehead. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I'll find out who did this, and I'll make them pay. Loud footsteps approached as Meridian, Xylock, Marikai, and Kairos came into the room. The queen moved over to the bed and looked down at the woman with sadness. She closed Michelle's eyelids, then turned around with a look of rage no one had seen her have before. What happened here? Am I late? I thought I booked it right. Budumch. That depends if you want to consider yourself late, Mad Locust. If you meant to arrive right now, then you are perfectly on time. However, we did start about an hour and a half ago, give or take. So, it's kind of up to you. You decide. Eliath pointed to the deceased assailant on the ground. I came in here and found that man attempting to kill Kayla. He'd already killed Michelle by the time I got here. Xylock lowered himself to the cloaked figure and removed the hood. A small gasp escaped him as he backed up a few inches. It's one of the Balthagar assassins. We have traitors among us. Suddenly, the walls of the castle vibrated, and a loud warning horn sounded off. Bright flashes of fire and lightning shot off from outside the window. Gold energy exploded off of Kairos' body as his eyes narrowed. We're being attacked. Everyone, get outside now. Eliath sat Kayla down on her bed and looked deep into her eyes. I need you to stay here. We're going to go take care of this, okay? Yeah. I please remove her mother's dead body, though, or at least cover her up. She gave a small nod, but it broke his heart to leave her alone. Anger and frustration flowed through his body like poisonous serum. As he rushed down the halls of the castle, making his way to the courtyard, he found countless people fighting each other. Once outside, the commotion intensified. Countless other black-cloaked individuals fought his people. And as he passed dead bodies on the ground, he realized all of them were his people. What is going on? A loud scream came from behind Eliath. He ducked, missing the incoming blade by a mere few inches. He sent a powerful kick into his enemy's stomach and sent the men tumbling to the ground. He snapped his fingers and formed 10 daggers crackling with jade electricity. They floated around him in a circle, and as a few more cloaked enemies came his way, he sent his attack flying, piercing each assailant in the heart. He searched desperately for his mother, father, and the rest of his teammates, but everything was too chaotic. More attacks flew through the air and lit up the darkness with brilliant colors. But out of nowhere, a dark miasma presented itself and Eliath's stomach churned. Everyone stopped fighting, and he didn't realize why until he turned to the courtyard entrance where a tall, bulky man held Meridian up in the air. Eliath moved forward cautiously with his hands up. "What are you doing with my mother?" The assailant chuckled and clicked his teeth. "Hello, Eliath. It seems this is our first time meeting. I'm sorry it has to be under such circumstances. I'm Arion Vororon, your grandfather." Eliath gritted his teeth and took another few steps forward. "You're no grandfather of mine. Let my mother go and I'll make sure your death is quick." Oh, the young and innocent, they're so brave, aren't they? So naive. Arion cocked an eyebrow and tilted his head. "You're the spitting image of Merrick. You even have his arrogant personality. But that's besides the point. You can't stop what's about to come." Eliath turned his head and found Marakai, Ezra, Kairos, and Sindral approaching. "I can, and I will stop whatever you have planned." He charged energy around his gauntlets and began dashing forward until hearing his mother's firm voice. "Stop, Eliath." She shook her head and gave him her famous motherly look. She then attempted to look back at her father. "Why are you doing this? Was it not enough that you already put a death curse on me? What happened to you?" You know the look. Thank you. "Jack, what's up?" Arion sighed and tightened his grip around her neck. A single tear left his eye. "You wouldn't understand if I told you. There's nothing you can do to stop the coming events. I've made sure that the Dark Council can secure Lord Malice's release." A few in the crowd gasped. "That's right. Malice isn't dead, and you all have the opportunity to be a part of his promised land. All you have to do is swear allegiance to him here and now, and I'll let you all go." Marakai cracked his neck and pointed a finger to the man. "You're insane if you think any of us would serve you or Lord Malice. Now I'm going to kill you." The Elder God leaped forward with gold and silver energy shooting off of him. Right before making it to Meridian, the Dark Sorcerer threw up his glowing red hand. Marakai flew backward and crashed into the ground. Arion scoffed as they looked upon Marikai. Did you think I wouldn't have a plan to take care of all of you? Didn't you wonder why your drinks tasted so funny earlier? In a few seconds, the effects of my potion will begin draining the last of your magic. I gave you the chance to join me. Since you refused, I'm going to take something precious away from you so that you don't dare try to defy me again. And I think I missed a follow earlier. Yo, random guy. My apologies. Thank you for the follow. Just wanted to mention that real quick. Eliath took another step forward. Sharp pain came from his heart, and he coughed up blood. He dropped to one knee, feeling as if all of his energy had been taken away. He looked up at Arion with pleading eyes and held up a hand. Please, I'm begging you. Don't do this. I just got her back, and I don't want to live without her. As Arion charged red lightning into a sword around his arm, Meridian smiled at her family. It's okay. I don't want you to let this consume you. We all know what's coming. As Eliath and his family attempted to charge forward, Arion slammed the energy blade into Meridian's chest. The dark sorcerer dropped her body to the ground and phased out of sight. No. Mother! Everything went into slow motion for Eliath. The corners of his eyes stung, and a loud ringing echoed inside his ears. He could barely move his body. It took everything he had just to crawl to his mother. As he approached her, he lifted her head and set it in his lap. Mother, can you hear me? Please don't die. I need you. Marikai and Syndril crawled over and sat speechless. Meridian grabbed her son's and daughter's hands and smiled weakly through bloody teeth. Allie, promise me you won't go down a dark path. You're so much like your father in that regard. You're always willing to do whatever needs to be done. But I want you to let this one go. You have a kind heart and a pure soul. You've always been the forgiving type. Don't ever change. Eliath sniffled and choked on his tongue for a second before speaking. I promise. Meridian nodded, pulled her son's forehead to her, kissed it softly. She then looked at Syndril and placed a hand on her cheek. A bright flash of magenta light came from Meridian's hand, and Syndril's eyes lit up the same color before the energy faded. My daughter. My precious, kind-hearted little angel. Look after Eliath when I'm gone. You know how rambunctious he can be. I'm entrusting everything to you. I wish I had more time to explain what that meant, but soon you'll understand. I love you. She kissed her daughter's cheek and turned to her husband. More tears streamed out of her eyes, and she kissed Marikai on the lips. I wish we had more time, my love. Promise me you'll leave our children with wisdom and guidance before you return to the stars. Marikai nodded and fought his tears. You have my word, Mary. I love you so much. Zylok walked up to them, got down on his knees, kissed Meridian on the forehead. I'm so sorry for all of this. You were the light that always kept us together and led our people to a peaceful life. I'm glad I got to watch you grow up to be the beautiful woman you are today. Zylok grunted and wiped the tears from his eyes. Meridian grabbed the old man's hand and kissed it. Oh, Zylok, I'm so glad my family has you. Please protect them and Meridian's eyes went blank as her last breath escaped her. Tears fled from Eliath's eyes as he screamed in rage, "Mother!" He sniffled and cursed and slammed his fist into the ground. Leaning down, he kissed his mother on the forehead, then stood and looked upon the rest of the courtyard. Countless corpses lined the ground. Eliath looked to his father. "We need to set up a fire and give them a proper farewell." Sindral's body suddenly shook violently as magenta and white light exuded from her. As her body rose, energy extended off her back and formed into the shape of phoenix wings. Once her feet hit the ground and the power dissipated, she looked at her brother with questioning eyes. What just happened? Eliath opened his mouth, but nothing would come out, so he shrugged and looked to Zylok for guidance. The old wizard came over and put a hand on the girl's shoulder. "I don't know exactly what happened, but if I had to guess, I'd say Meridian transferred her powers to you before she died." "I don't want her powers." Sindral started crying again and clenched her fists in anger. "I just want my mother back." Eliath felt soft hands wrap around him. He turned around and found Kayla looking at him with watery eyes. He pulled her close, released his tears, rocked back and forth with her. "I'm so sorry, Eliath." Kayla put a hand on his face and tried to look hopeful. "I'm sure your mother is in heaven with mine. Maybe that can bring you a bit of comfort." Eliath walked slowly with his arm around Kayla and Sindral as they moved over to the large bonfire that had been lit. Soldiers dragged the dead bodies up to a line of pyres. Kayla gripped his hand tightly as they brought her mother over and set her down on one of the wooden crafts. Eliath saw two bodies being dragged over that made his stomach twist in a knot. It was Kelly and Stephen Brown. Both bodies were bloody and mangled. He clenched his teeth so hard that one of them chipped. Once all the bodies were lined up, soldiers came around and handed everyone torches to their loved ones to light their loved ones ablaze. Eliath walked up to Meridian, Michelle, Kelly, and Stephen's bodies and lowered the torch upon their corpses. Crackling pops sounded as the fires engulfed higher, sending smoke into the sky. A few musicians in the courtyard began playing their strings, and Eliath sang. "Really? Okay. Gonna do the singing thing again. In the darkness of night, we stand. Let the light of heaven be our guide. Those who we lost will never be gone. They will remain in our hearts forevermore." Well, you know the tune, okay? And I've got other music in my ear, just like you have. Everyone remained silent as Eliath finished the song. The only audible noise after that was the crackling of the fires. Eliath turned to his father and narrowed his eyes. "I'm going to kill Arion and the rest of the Dark Council for what they did to us." Marikai put his hand on Eliath's head and brought him close. "Don't forget your mother's last words. I know how you feel right now, because I feel the same way. I promise you that we will get justice the right way." Eliath walked back towards the castle with Kayla hand in hand, then turned back to his father one more time. "I hope you have something that can help us tomorrow." Marikai nodded and showed a half smile. "I do." "Good. Then tomorrow we will go take back Targus and destroy Zalron." Eliath turned back around and went towards his chambers. Break in the story. Just curious, are any of these songs, like, based off of Taylor Swift tunes by chance? Because if they are, I don't know them. I'm going to be of no help. No? Okay. I kind of assumed not, but I thought I'd ask because it was funny. Whoa. Marikai headed down the hallway to sit in the empty common room. As he stared into the fire, he heard two voices coming towards him. He turned around to find Kairos and Xylock. The men took a seat next to him and remained silent for a few minutes. What could one say after experiencing such a traumatic event? Kairos squirmed in his seat and eventually grew restless. He walked over to the counter next to the hearth and grabbed a few goblets. Filling them with wine, he brought them over to his comrades and sat down. Do you think people are still going to have the mental fortitude and focus for battle after what just happened? Kairos took a sip of his drink and leaned back in his chair. They have to be ready, Marikai said, because this is our one chance to take back Targus and do justice for all those that we have lost recently. There will be time later to get revenge on Arion, but for now, we need to make sure everyone understands the stakes before we go in the morning. With that being said, Xylock stood up abruptly with fury in his eyes. I think it would be best for all of us to get some good rest, or at least try to, so that tomorrow morning we are energized and ready to go. As the old wizard made his way to the hallway, he paused and stroked his beard. I don't think it would be wise to bring Sindral tomorrow. Have you lost your mind? Marikai gripped his goblet, shattering it. She has just as much of a reason to be there as anyone else. Because, Marikai, Xylock said, she just lost her mother, and on top of that, she now has Meridian's Ice Phoenix abilities. I'm afraid if she comes with us, she will lose herself and end up getting herself killed. Marikai huffed. She is coming with us, and that will be the end of it. Are we clear? The elder god rose from his chair and stormed out of the room. Well then, Xylock said to Kairos, that settles that. I reckon both of us should probably get some sleep. The old wizard patted his friend on the shoulder before heading for his bedroom chamber and going to bed. Another break in the story. The last break in the story, I think, before the chapter ends. The morning came quicker than Eliath would have liked it to. Birds chirped in the trees as the sun rays broke over the rocky cliffs and consumed Vasilius in radiant light. Eliath heard the many groggy voices of people getting up and readying themselves for battle. The feeling was surreal to Eliath, who still hadn't processed the fact his mother was truly gone. Not just away or held prisoner. She was gone forever. Those thoughts loomed over him like a 50-foot tall dragon, and they wouldn't go away, making it near impossible to focus. And to make things worse, it wasn't just his mother being gone that was on his mind. His adopted parents were on his mind as well. He wished he could have had another chance to visit with them and tell them so much more about what they meant to him. But he couldn't, and nothing was going to change that. Are you able to play a Discord voice message out loud on here? Yes, I think so. It should be heard. I'm assuming you're recording the songs. Just a guess. Once Eliath finished throwing on all his clothes, armor, and gauntlets, he stopped by Kayla's room. He knocked twice and entered. He wasn't sure exactly what to say to her. What do you tell someone before you go off to battle? I love you? Don't worry, everything's going to be okay? Eliath grabbed her shoulders and looked deep into her eyes. Kayla, I want you to know that I'm going to be okay. I'll come back to you, and we'll be able to go on that date. She leaned in and kissed him on the cheek. It broke his heart to see her like this. Her face was slightly pale, and her eyes still showed fear, as if she were reliving the previous night's scene over and over again. He put his hand on her cheek and smiled wistfully before leaving her room and heading to the main hall. Countless tables lined the walls, each holding different meal bars, healing apples, and hydration packs. He grabbed enough so that he'd be able to help someone else if the time came. Throwing everything into his side pack, he headed out to the fighting pits, where people had begun gathering into formation. His heart skipped a beat at the sight. Their numbers had dwindled drastically from the dwindled drastically from what they once had. You sent one? Cool, I see it. Thank you. By Eliath's estimate, they only had 500 warriors compared to the 2,000 they had yesterday. How many people did we lose last night? He went over and joined his comrades. Ezra put a hand on Eliath's shoulder and said, I'm glad I get to fight next to you, Eliath. We will get justice for Meridian. I promise you that. Eliath gave a half smile to Ezra and thanked him. He was more concerned with staying focused on the war. He turned to Zylok and nudged him. Where are all our warriors? How many people did we lose last night? Zylok grunted solemnly and put a hand on the boy's back. Many people were injured and had to stay behind. Mistress Yonda can only do so much by herself. He paused and let out a deep breath. George, Arthur, and Captain Smith were among the injured. That's 3 of our best fighters down. We need to be on high alert today. A bright explosion of gold and white light came from in front of the formation. Eliath turned to the commotion and found a large portal with his father next to it. He led his comrades forward and shook the Elder God's hand. Are you ready? I am. I need all of you to take down the Elder God Barry and Targus when we get there. That's first priority. As soon as everyone's through the portal, I'm leaving to grab a couple of allies to help us in the fight. It won't take me long. Marikai turned his attention to the crowd of anxious people. My brave warriors, thank you for fighting with us. Thank you for being willing to leave everything behind to help my children get their home back. This monster way of fighting has killed thousands of people over the years. I'm sure some of you have an axe to grind with him as well. So I ask you, my friends and warriors, will you help give justice to all those who have lost to this monster and the heads that he serves? The crowd erupted in violent noise. People stomped their feet and jabbed their weapons into the air. Marikai pointed to the portal. Then go, warriors. Go now, and let's take back Targus and destroy Zalron. Eliath jumped through first and stood atop a tall hill. In the distance, he could see the familiar sight of his home, and goosebumps rose on his skin. He was ready to fight. He was ready to take back Targus. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of chapter 40. All right, let's see if I can get this to work. Let me know if you don't hear it or if I need to turn it up. This is one of the songs from Nathan's book that he just recorded and sent to me on Discord, so I'm going to play it. And here we go.
In the
darkness of night we stand. Let the light of heaven be our guide. Those that we lost will never be gone. They will remain in our hearts forevermore.
I like it. Theme song? That was pretty sweet. That was good. I like that. Could you guys hear it okay?
In the darkness of night we stand. Let the light of heaven be our guide. Those that we lost will never be gone. They will remain in our hearts forevermore.
I like that melody. That's a good melody. That was good. Thank you for sharing that. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, we don't have much left of the story. I'll send you the full theme song with music and stuff too. Ooh, yeah, definitely. Let's see. The next chapter is 438, and the story goes to 480 something. So we only have like 50 pages, something like that. Kind of crazy. I'd say 2 more streams worth of reading, and we will have officially finished the book. Crikey. What's it like to have a talent? Mama House Gaming. If you shame yourself one more time, I swear. Gonna get some sleep, have an amazing stream. Thank you, Nova. I hope you have a good sleep. I appreciate you being here. I swear to God, my arms feel like jelly. Years of practice. Shaking my head. All right, so let's see. See if you can play that on here. That sound quality will be way better. Okay, hold on. Let me...
I, the Funky Fantasy Man, have brought you the map. Welcome to the land of Dundar.
Ooh. Can you guys hear that okay? Hold on. There's actually... yeah, let me actually share the screen even, because there's like legit stuff going on. Hold on. And then we will go to our jigsaw, make it bigger, and then I'll hide my camera so that you can actually see through my head. All right. Nice. I like it. That was really cool. Well done. Forevermore. All right. Well, that was a cool way to end stream. That pretty much brings us to our evening together. So as I said, oh, I forgot to turn my camera on. Hold on. Please hold. Where is my camera? Where did it go? I turned it off. Come back. There we are. Yes. I think we have about 2 more streams-ish of the book. So, shockingly, not too much left, which is kind of crazy. And then, of course, we'll have a chat with the Funky Fantasy Man on Discord. So like I said, sir, I will reach out to you when we're a little bit closer to that, and then we can make sure the timing works out. So, so it'll be good. Okay. Just shrink this back down a bit because we were covering up that map that we saw in the video. Yeah. It was good, yeah. Okay, so as always, let me go find someone that we can say hello to. Guten Hagen. Or something like that. All right, who do we have online? Who's online? Who's online? I had thought about raiding Newfiggle, but Newfiggle raided us. So, indeed, yeah. Oh, bleh. Gosh. There's a lot of people on, but not... Oh, wait, hold on. Somebody else is... Oh, that's right. This is a new person to me. Okay. So we haven't rated this person before. Actually, I haven't been in their stream before, but they're a reading streamer just like me. So I think it would be great to go make a new friend. So let's do that. If you can copy this raid message, I would love that. Come in with a raging support. And then let's go raid a new friend. I'm just going to copy their name because I don't want to mess up the typing. It was great seeing you all tonight. You guys gave me a heck of a workout, that's for sure. It was a pleasure reading to you and spending some time with you. I hope that whatever happens tonight, that the start of your week is an amazing one. I appreciate you. Please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and have an amazing night.